Hi, everybody. Those of you who choose to watch my Facebook Live videos, and I've just been so blessed and encouraged by my last video that I shared on boundaries. And really, my aim was to just encourage people in their parenting. And as you can see on my description of the video, I'm thinking this is maybe the stirring of resurrecting my YouTube channel. So I'd love some feedback, and if there's any questions you want to ask me about parenting, happy to address them on the video. And so, hi Jen and Michael and Debbie. Anyway, so this, if you can remember, I did my last video on boundaries, and we all need boundaries. We see it throughout life. You know, you travel on an Air New Zealand flight or an Emirates flight, they create boundaries for us. They tell us our flight leaves at 2 o'clock and you have to be there 2 hours before. And they set boundaries, and that structure drives our behavior. And our children need boundaries. And so as I was sitting in my office, you're thinking, what are the 4 things that I want to encourage you as parents in relation to boundaries to encourage you in your parenting? And the first one is it needs to be age appropriate. And I'm struggling with this camera and where I should put it. There we go. It needs to be age appropriate. You know, for example, you can't put boundaries around a 13-year-old that you're going to put boundaries around a 3-year-old. And so it's so important that no matter what age your child is, make sure that it's an age appropriate boundary that you put in to their lives. You know, for example, with my grandchildren, one of the boundaries that their mom and dad have put in is that they go to bed at 7 o'clock at night, regardless of if they are at home. And of course, there's the exception. They make sure that little Charlie and Jackson go to sleep or in bed at 7. They create routines and they create boundaries. So no matter what age your child is, make sure that it's age appropriate. The second thing that I want to encourage you with is that you got to know your child. You know, it's not one paintbrush for everybody. So know your child and the makeup of your child and the personality of your child, because just because in our family, my Sean and Junior put their kids to bed at 7 o'clock, that might not suit you, might not suit your child. But it's kind of make sure that you know your child and set appropriate boundaries for them. The third thing is, where we are, there we go. Be on the same page. It's very important that mom and dad, if they're 2 parents in the home, that you are all on the same page. What often happens in life is the child plays the one parent up against the other, and you know, children are so clever. Your teenagers are so clever. They know how to deal with mom, and they know how to deal with dad. They know which buttons to push for mom and buttons to push with dad. And so it's very, very important that mom and dad are on the same page, and that you're singing from the same song sheet, that you're not dad says this and mom says that, because there's going to be so much inconsistency, and your children are going to behave inappropriately. So just make sure mom and dad are on the same page. Lastly, as we look at our boundaries, is be consistent. Be consistent. You know, parenting is not easy. And sometimes mom and dad have had a bad day or not such, and maybe you're exhausted and maybe you're tired and you think, well, I'm just going to let it slip today and I'm going to let it slip tomorrow. And then what happens after a couple of weeks, the boundaries that you've worked so hard at putting into place, you have to reestablish them, which makes it very hard and makes your children unsettled. Children love boundaries and to be, they feel safe and secure. Even though they sometimes don't like the boundaries, they'll kick up against the boundaries. The most important thing is that there are boundaries. It's safety, it's freedom, and the key thing is you want to make your children feel safe. So remember, boundaries are very, very important. Make sure they're age appropriate, know your child, Mom and Dad, make sure you're on the same page and always be consistent, regardless of how you feel. And my prayer is that you'll take some of these gold nuggets and apply it. And I'd love to hear some of your stories. And so next week, we'll put another video out. And thank you for watching. Please share this with your friends. God bless you all.